Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Crewcraft. Today I am going to be doing something extremely boring, and Finn is eating paper in the corner. Please don't swallow it. Oh, he just sneezed. That was so cute. Yeah, so I'm doing something boring, which is a terrible thing to say at the start of a video that you want a lot of people to watch, but because I'm doing something boring, this episode is very different. I'm going to be laying the bricks for my building that I am building, St. Andrew's Hall, where rap battles will happen on the server. Hopefully we can get some people around to have some rap battles, but I'm going to be laying those bricks, so that's going to be something that isn't that exciting to watch. So because I was doing that, and I haven't posted a video in about a week because I've been doing a lot of other very boring stuff, like mining coal, because I wanted the entire floor to be coal blocks, which takes a while. So, because I'm doing this, I decided I was going to have a conversation with my friend Shadow during this episode. And I didn't even play Minecraft while I was having this conversation with Shadow. My conversation with Shadow will be overlaid on the Minecraft gameplay of me literally just laying bricks pretty much the entire time and looking at a picture of a build I did in creative and trying to match it up with the one that I'm putting into the server. So, if that's something you're interested in, cool. I hope it is. I think I had a great conversation with Shadow. We just talked about life and YouTube, some really general topics that some people can relate to. If it's not something you're interested in, I totally understand. I already told you that the gameplay would be boring, so I'm a terrible salesman. Once I snap my fingers, we will get right into my conversation with Shadowbeatz. And yeah, let's do that. You want to just jump into it?
Oh, for sure.
I didn't ask you these questions ahead of time, so you don't know what's coming. And I don't expect
Go for it, man.
Amazing answers. It's just a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you were in high school, what did you think your life would be like at this age? We're at the same age, 25. What did you think your career would be, or did you even think about it at all?
I didn't even think about it.
Did you think you would be dead?
No, I didn't think I'd be dead. But like when I was in high school, and even now, like I haven't really changed this philosophy, but I just go with the flow. Like whatever happens, happen. Like I never think too far ahead in life, and sometimes that can be a detriment. But most times, I find it helps because like I don't have any expectations. I don't like think like, oh wow, like by this point, like I need to be married, because if I thought by the age of 24, like random number, like fuck, like I need to be married, then that's just gonna create a whole lot of stress, and like I'm forcing myself to find a relationship or just something along those lines. So I just kind of take life as it comes. And that's kind of what I did in high school. I'm just like, you know what, like whatever. Out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I'm just like, whatever.
Well, that's very zen. Yeah.
Very zen.
Well, I thought it would just be something more negative, but that seems like a very positive philosophy, the way I take it.
Yeah. A lot of people think that I'm a rather negative person, but I'm not.
I think I'm kind of a negative person. I don't really know what I thought I would be doing when I was in high school, and I feel like I still don't know what I'm doing. Kind of the same answer as you, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you, because I feel like I relate to you the best on a talking level. If I had to talk to one of our friends, if you know, whatever people assume our group of friends are, or whatever I assume it is, if I had to talk to one of those people for 3 hours or something, it would probably be you, because I feel like we relate the most. And
Aww.
I'm sorry to get so romantic, but yeah, I feel like I didn't know, and I still don't know, and I think that's okay. I think when you get older, okay, you get more okay with it, but I still have, you know, maybe I felt okay with it yesterday, but I don't feel okay with it today. Maybe that's why I wasn't productive all day up until this point, 9 p.m. But I don't know. It's something I struggle with, and I feel like probably other people struggle with it. It's just something that's kind of weird to think about. This is maybe a quarter life crisis, 25 years old. I'm probably going to live to be close to 100 based on modern technology, I would assume.
Well,
But
let's hope. I think it'd be so cool to live to 100. I don't think I'm gonna get there, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I that was just kind of a starter question. Just we kind of had the same answer, and I knew we kind of would have the same answer. But I guess I will move on to my next question, which is a good transition. It talks about growing up, or it's kind of the theme of the next question. What scares you the most about growing older? Now we are both the same age, as I've said, and you start to think about getting older.
the my body deteriorating. Like I don't handle getting sick very well, and I think that's just because I've had. I know I'm young, but even like compared to like other people my age and growing up, like I still got sick a lot less than everybody else. And so because of that, like I haven't really had much experience with getting sick. I haven't gone to the doctor that much. Like I'm still kind of unfamiliar with that.
Same.
But like when you get older, like it doesn't matter how well you take care of your body. Like it's not going to be like it was when it was young. Like you're more prone to like have shit happen, and I'm really just not looking forward to that. Like,
Yeah, it is an inevitability
yeah,
that
and
over time, and it's something you don't even think about when you're younger, because I think you really, below the age of 20, maybe, let's make up some number, you feel almost immortal. When someone dies, I know we both had situations where we were in high school and one of our classmates died. You obviously know a human can die, but you almost think, how can a human my age die? Like, it's an impossible thing to happen for someone that age to die, and then you get older and you see people dying. I mean, Prince died today. He's 57. That's only 30 years older than me. There's people I know that have died that are my age, and you start to, like, you get closer and closer to that mortality, and that is, I guess, a scary thing. And it gets scary to think about, what will I die of? Will it be Alzheimer's? Will it be cancer? Will it just be something that hits me and I won't even know? Which I think would be ideal.
That's I've never feared dying, just because like I don't believe in any afterlife or anything like that. So like I just kind of feel like, I just kind of feel like when you die, it's just like when you're sleeping. Like you don't know. Like it's kind of this is, I guess, kind of like an emo thing to say, but like when you're dead, you're not gonna like feel any pain or like sadness or anything like that. I mean, sure, on the same token, you're not going to be able to experience like pleasure and all that. But I've never really thought death was something to feared and getting older. The thing that scares me is like going through the process of dying, like getting cancer and
knowing that you're going to die in like a timeline type thing. Like, not to be too morbid, we both like sports. Craig Sager probably knows he's going to die within the next few years. I mean, he has cancer for the third time, and he's of older age. I feel like, and David Bowie knew he was going to die leading up to the point where he was going to die. That would be a very scary thing, because, again, we know we're going to die, but to have a finite timeline on it, that's very different. It's something you would want to hit you when you don't know what's going to happen, because like you said, when you're dead, you're just dead. People want to put a consciousness beyond. Sometimes there is no consciousness, or some people believe there's consciousness. I don't want to go too deep into religion talk, but that's how I think of it too. It's like, oh, I'm going to be so scared when I'm dead. It's like, no, it's just going to be, in my opinion and other people's opinions, just going to be over. There is no, there's no fear after it happens, because, and like I said, I believe there's nothing, and even if there was an afterlife, then that's supposed to be the good thing. So whatever your feelings are about it, it is a scary thing to think about. And I also did want to mention in my thoughts something a little less deep and morbid that scares me about growing up is it seems like the amount of consequences for things start to rack up. When you're in high school or juvenile, there aren't a lot of consequences for things. Even if you commit some heinous crime, short of murder, you're probably going to be able to live your life beyond the age of 18. And then once you're 18, if you start to commit crimes, that's going to be a big deal. And there's even just little things. Like if I didn't pay my taxes this year, it was kind of a tight year. I got married last year, so that was a lot of expenses. I paid my taxes last minute this year, and there's repercussions for that. And I think to myself, what if I screwed up? What if the penalties rack up? What if the IRS wants to talk to me? And that's just me being at the age of 25 and married. If I have kids, there's consequences for if I don't raise my kids right. There's consequences for, it just seems like the older you get, the more responsibilities and consequences are placed upon you. And to adjust to that is difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree that was actually more something that I went through when I was I think like 17. Actually, I had that sort of like those fears then, but like I got comfort in knowing that like it's a slow process. Like by the time that I just kind of figured by the time that I was 25, 26, or like doing all the adult things like paying taxes and bills and everything, like I will have the fortitude to handle it. And like just what I've learned, the just tax thing is as an example, like if you pay your taxes late one time, that's not life in prison. Like that's, I mean, yeah.
Maybe I'm a square, but I do think like that. I get, and I think it also is a function of what we do for a living. It feels like it's almost an altered reality. You should not be able to make a living off of doing this. So then it almost kind of feels fraudulent. If even though it's not fraudulent.
Yeah, I've been through that.
We're gonna go a little farther into that with some other things I wanted to talk about, but
it's again, I this sort of, I guess it's easier for me to think this way just because I tend to just kind of be laid back and take life as it comes. But yes. Like as you get older, there are more like consequences that you have to deal with, but the consequences and repercussions of your actions, I feel like, are overplayed and overhyped up like a lot. It's not that bad.
Yeah, on the positive spin, my wife, you always want to marry someone who is different in a way that balances the two of you, and she's a very positive person. And I'm a very negative person. I would say a realist, but I know it's mostly just a pessimist. And she always says, you think this is going to be bad, it will end up being not nearly as bad as you think. And she's right 99% of the time. And I do find that with a lot of situations. So that is, for some reason, I don't learn that lesson. Maybe I'll continue. I think I've learned that lesson with some things, and I'll continue to learn that as I get older. But yeah. The consequences and all that stuff. Let's move on to the next thing. We've been talking about this for too long. What do you do for entertainment? There's so many entertainment options. I know before we started talking, you were watching the Penguins game, some playoff hockey. But what? Yeah,
dude,
what do you?
Just fucking scored again? God damn!
I'm sorry. I'm I feel like I'm ruining your game by talking.
Oh no, the game's over. I mean, if it was close, I wouldn't be here.
But I'm kind of just thinking in a sense of there are so many outlets and options for entertainment nowadays between YouTube and podcasts and television, music. It feels like almost an overload of things you can entertain yourself with. What do you find yourself killing your time with the most? if I can break it down to the most simple terms. What's that for you?
Now it's
Yeah, lately, I guess.
it's much the same as it's always been for me. Just like casual gaming and music.
Making it or listening to it, both.
More making it. If I listen to music, like I have to be doing something else, like playing a game or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I sort of there's a part of me that kind of regrets not going as hard as I could have with this whole like YouTube thing. Like I even now, like I still don't take it super seriously. But a good part of that is like my work, quote unquote, is entertainment to me. Like I don't, because I'm not trying to think like, oh wow, like I need to do this like as my income. Like when I work, it entertains me. It doesn't bore me. So yeah, like, I would say gaming is still most of my entertainment, and luckily I can afford to do it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. A lot of gaming, although I think I was thinking about that question because I've felt bored of gaming lately, besides when I play with my friends. And I don't like that I only get entertained by it when I play with my friends, because then it feels like I need some supplement for it to entertain me, when usually I can just entertain myself by playing video games. And I know it's a time when there's not a lot of video games coming out, and if you do anything for a living, if you do it often enough, it becomes stale. So maybe it's one of those periods. I listen to a lot of podcasts. That's mostly what I do. I don't watch a ton of TV anymore, and watch some YouTube videos, but I definitely don't watch nearly as many gaming videos as I used to, if any. YouTube videos that are instructional or kind of just ambient noise sometimes. I feel like I have this thing where I always need to be listening to something, and I've felt like that's a form of therapy lately that's kind of bad. So I guess the negative aspect of therapy, like almost a drug, where I feel like I always need to be listening to something and it drowns out my own thoughts and I don't come up with original creative ideas. And it's like a way of procrastinating coming up with an idea. If you're like, oh, well, this new podcast is out that I have to listen to today, when I could just listen to it any other time. I mean, it exists in space, but I'm saying to myself, I have to listen to that, and it just pushes. Our job is to be creative. It sounds so weird to say, but it's like you're adding other noise into your head to push out the fact that you are supposed to be creating, and that's difficult, to think of ideas and to be creative. But I don't know. I feel like that question was entirely for me. You're just over here saying like, I make music that entertains me, and I'm sitting here thinking like, what are you doing? It's like that was the secret Joel's having a breakdown question. So thank you for navigating those waters with me.
Hey man, no problem. I just think not that you asked for advice, but I'm gonna give it anyway. I think that you just kind of the fact that you are aware of like, wow, I'm listening to something and that's blocking my creative flow, but I need to listen to something. I think you're putting a lot of mental energy into thinking like why you have a creative block. Like I just think you need to just do what you want to fucking do. Like if you want to listen to a podcast, don't second guess yourself. Like just listen. Yeah. Listen to the podcast while you do what you do.
I think I just crave structure, and when I have to create that for myself, it becomes difficult for me as a person. But it's something I'm starting to do, and I feel like I need to do, and I feel like you're forced to do it if you have responsibilities like children, which I don't have and don't want at this point. But it's something I think about a lot. So let's move on to the next question, because I told you I wanted this to be under 40 minutes. And with these next two questions, we might get close to that. But this is kind of long. It's more a commentary type thing. I don't like talking about YouTube too much because it feels so self-aggrandizing, but I did want to discuss YouTube content and trends with you. I feel like I don't fit into any YouTube gaming trends at the moment, and maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't like to overreact when I play video games, and I feel like if I don't play a game immediately when it's released, then I should never play it because people's attention spans are so short and they already want to move on to the next thing. I also don't like discussing quote-unquote drama because I don't like having opinions, I guess. I don't really know why I don't like to discuss it. I find it entertaining, but it's not for me. You and myself blew up off of a funny moments trend in late 2012, I guess. Our friends also blew up off of that on YouTube, but that's very saturated at the moment. And I guess I just want your opinion in general on YouTube trends. And it feels like whenever I talk about this or whenever I say, I don't really know what to do, people are like, just do what you fucking want. And it's like, that I just said I don't know what I want to do. Yeah. So it's like you didn't answer. And I really appreciate people are so supportive in the comments, and they feel like this kind of almost bleeds into the next question, but they're like, we just like hearing from you. And it's like, what if I don't like hearing from me? Like, I don't know what I like. And it's very weird. So just, I don't know. Your idea on, your thoughts on trends and all that stuff is what I'm after.
Well, I'm kind of
where do you fit in on YouTube right now?
Me? I don't fucking know or care.
Yeah, same.
To be honest. Like, I
care. Opposite of you, then. I care a lot.
I mean, I don't... this is going to make me sound like such a fucking... I don't even know what you call it. Some, like...
Say your thoughts, and I'll tell you what I think you are.
I guess no, it's gonna make me sound like some like YouTube rebel or something. But it's just like I've never tried to fit into any mold or like appeal to any specific like YouTube demographic or anything like that. Like I've always just been me. Like I know that there are some people who do try to cater to a certain demographic, and so like they sort of like when they record themselves, like they play a character.
I was specifically thinking about this on my walk. That's what jarred this entire notepad I made of questions, because it's a weird dichotomy. The place is called YouTube. The place where we upload our videos, it's called YouTube. So inherently, it's about yourself. However, some people become very successful off of being a character of themselves. Some of the most successful YouTubers, that Fred back in the day, Miranda Sings, and a lot of gaming YouTubers that are really successful, I would consider a lot of what Jacksepticeye does to be a characterization of himself, which is totally fine, and he's very more successful than I'll probably ever be. It's just, I have a difficult time separating, this is me, this is a character, where do they blend in? There's some, and I know, Jack, I don't mean to call out a specific person, I'm just literally letting my thoughts spill out into this microphone. But he does create some personal vlogs and put those on his channel, and maybe I'm really overthinking that, but how do you want to be entertaining? The end game is entertainment, nothing else matters. So I guess I'm just trying to see where I fit into that by doing what I like to do, and why do people find that entertaining? And you know what? Why don't I just throw the next question into this conversation? I'm not trying to overload you with information, but it's an entire discussion that revolves around this. Do you understand why you or I are successful? And do you think understanding why we are successful is necessary to repeat that success?
Well,
that was hard for me to say.
I'm not going to speak for any of you guys, but I
never do that either. If people ask me how one of my friends feels about something, I'm like, ask my friends. I speak for myself.
Yeah, like me, I just feel like I got lucky. You know, I think that more than anything else, on YouTube is, I think like that is the biggest factor. Like, yeah, you can have, you can have a talent, you can put up good videos and shit like that, and that's definitely important. But I mean, I I happened to meet Jehovah, who just randomly found a video, like the first video that I uploaded, like 2 days after I uploaded it. So boom, that's lucky. And then we met Speedy, and Speedy blew up. And like I happened to be friends with people who had Drive and blew up, and so that's kind of why I feel like I personally have whatever success on YouTube I have. But and as far as replicating it, I mean, it's just kind of, I feel like that's sort of out of my control. Like if I would try to do it again, I would take the same approach, like just kind of be myself and just kind of hope that I got lucky again.
Yeah, and I feel the same way a little bit. Like I got lucky, and I definitely struggle with that feeling invalidating my success or making it fraudulent. Which, yeah, and it should invalidate because it happens a lot to musicians. Like Big Sean was lucky enough to run into Kanye West at a Detroit radio station and do a freestyle for him. If he didn't work at that radio station, or if his friend didn't tell him that Kanye West was at that radio station, that one day he would not be famous right now. Or, Kanye West was discovered the same way, if he didn't make a lot of beats and shop them for hours. Like, it just, success, and you can say that for actors and any other people in entertainment especially, or other careers, you get lucky by getting them. But it is a struggle to, I guess, feel validated. And just even by talking about this, if anyone's still watching this video at this point, which if you are, thank you so much, because it's long-winded and interesting to myself and maybe some others watching. But I feel like even people would comment and say, this is why I like your videos, or I just like you because you're you. And when I see someone in public and they say, hey, Joel, I like your videos, which happens sometimes, my first thought, and maybe this is the epitome of my pessimism, is why? Why do you like my videos?
You and I are practically the same, but
and I want when you start on YouTube for people to watch your videos, you want them to watch your videos. But then once you get that thing, or let me just speak for myself, I don't want to generalize. I just think to myself, okay, people are watching my videos. Wait, why are they watching my videos? And that question kills me, and I feel like some people have the answer to that. I feel like PewDiePie has the answer to that. I feel like I don't know, that Epic Mealtime has the answer to that. And maybe they probably don't either. So maybe that's something that I need to work on personally. But I feel like it's something I struggle with, and I feel like if I knew the secret to my success, I could repeat it during this lull period or whatever.
I think well, I'm just gonna tell you how I kind of got over the whole questioning.
Please, because I'm
my
considering
worth.
pills.
That's
No, not really.
Might
help.
It because I went through the same thing, and I man, like I don't deserve anything, because like I just went through this whole period where it's just like, what the fuck? Like I have my subscriber count because I just happen to be friends with KYR Speedy and Jehovah's Witness and all these guys. Like I didn't do a damn bit of anything. Like what the hell? And I still kind of feel that to a degree. And even though like some people say like, no man, it's like you're awesome and you've earned it, like I don't instantly dismiss that, but that's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. But I think what the thing is like, this is a pretty sweet gig. Like it's a relatively simple job.
So easy.
It's
compared to, I mean, it's hard to think. Thinking, and sorry to interrupt, but I just, for my thought on this, and I know you have the exact same thought because you had almost the exact same job as I had before we were able to do YouTube full time. I had a completely physical job. Well, actually, no, I guess we didn't necessarily have the same job, but I thought of my last job as completely physical, driving around and lifting things all day. And that is a hard job in terms of my muscles hurt, but in terms of thinking, it is the easiest possible job. This job is the opposite. Physically, nothing to do with anything. I just sit in a chair. But my brain has to be active and thinking of ideas and thinking, how do I want to edit this? What's a little tweak I can do here? And micromanaging to a degree that is probably not healthy. It's a complete... they're hard in different ways, and it feels like even though I'd have days when I could not walk anymore at my last job, this one feels infinitely harder, but in the grand scheme of things, it's very easy for what you can earn and all of that.
Well, yeah, that's something that you're only going to have like experience with or a view on if you actually have done the YouTube thing. I think the whole self-worth or validation questions, I think that comes from society, really. You tell anybody what you do, and I mean, the simple thing is like, well, I basically record myself playing video games and I upload it to YouTube, and I probably
it's embarrassing to say
as much as you do working 45 hours a week. Like,
yes.
And so I think because of that, like, you start to think like, wow, like what have I done to deserve such, a great opportunity at a quote unquote like easier life. But what got me over that is, like, I don't know, like, you only live your life one time, and if the YouTube thing never worked out for me, like, it's not like I would be completely miserable with whatever happened with my life. Like, if you didn't have YouTube, you'd probably, I don't know, it's probably not good to
idea.
It's
so hard to speculate.
It's not good to speculate, but I mean, like, do you think that if it wasn't for YouTube, you would be absolutely miserable?
No, I mean, I did start YouTube at a time when I was particularly miserable in my life, probably the second most miserable I'd been in my life, and it turned into the most amazing thing I could imagine. I've traveled a lot, and I would not have traveled without YouTube, and I've had a lot more laughs than I ever would have had in my life. But I wouldn't be miserable. No, I have perspective. I was dating my now wife at the time, and I think of her as a very positive influence. So actually, I mean, there are some times on YouTube where I considered it a negative thing. It just to, especially a very long stretch in 2013, even when that was probably our most successful time on YouTube, I was the most miserable. Not there's no correlation between our success and my misery, but it was just an obsessing over it. It became a point to me where this YouTube thing is more important than talking to the person who loves me. That's almost a sickening thing to say at this point, but you become so wrapped up in it, and then you step away from your computer one day and realize this is not the most important thing in the world. That comes back to the self-aggrandizing thing, thinking it's so important, feeling like you're getting caught up in passing people in subs. I need this many subs per day. If I don't have this many subs per day, then it's the worst day of the week.
Oh yeah, thankfully I never fell into that trap.
I grew out of it. I couldn't tell you within how many amount of subs I have per day. I couldn't tell you how many I lose per day. I couldn't tell you how many I gain. But Speedy just joined. our channel, and I wanted to wrap up anyway. The Speedy. So here's the Shadow and I were just talking about stuff, and I'm recording it for my Minecraft video, and you just joined, so it's kind of awkward. But I love you. Well, yeah, that sounded like a dickish thing to say.
What's even more awkward is me saying silent here, just not saying anything.
I know. No, you
I was
just
gonna
joined.
do that, but I didn't want to make it even worse for you.
No. We were just talking about just life, and then what we do for a living, and I was literally just about to end it because I told Shadow I wanted to stay exactly under 40 minutes, and it's at like 37 minutes now.
You're married?
Okay. Well,
while we're talking about something, just real quick before you end it, am I the only one who thinks babies are ugly as fuck?
oh my God, why would
All right, I'll be in the Weeaboo Club, guys.
I'm
not going to entertain this conversation.
I need to say this. Like,
you made him leave the channel.
I have not once.
I'm back.
I have not one time seen a baby that I thought was adorable.
Okay, here's what I hate.
Yeah, why would
I'm
you
not
be?
going to say they're ugly or not ugly, but I hate when someone walks up to a couple with their baby in their crib and or their like little stroller and say, "Oh my God, that is the cutest baby of all time." Shut up,
They all
look
look
the same.
the fucking same, and like
well, I don't think you should be attracted to babies or judge their looks.
Dad, I just found out that Joel's married.
I just think
Right?
that.
Side, I am recording something, so please. I was recording a conversation with Shadow.
We're
And
ruining
now
it,
two
Sidearms. We're
other
ruining it.
people have joined.
I just think babies are disgusting, and when I see a baby and I'm eating stuff,
I disagree with this and do not endorse this opinion.
no, I'm serious. Like they're just if I'm eating something and I see a baby, I instantly lose my appetite because they're like at any particular point they can just fucking puke or just fucking shit themselves, and it's nasty. There, I had to say
think
that.
every baby is cutest to the person who created that baby or the people, because you can't do it alone, or maybe you can. I don't know.
You can.
I don't know how it works.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well,
Don't
Finn
hate Joel for the video. Hate me.
everyone,
Twitter at Shadowbeatz Inc.
No, Finn just walked into my office, and I want to end this. I want to stop
Do you
recording.
hate baby animals, Shadow?
So I can just talk.
Don't. They're adorable.
I want this to be over now. So thank you if you're still watching the video, and say goodbye, all 4 friends or 3 friends that are now in this team.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.